Hey everybody, this is Craig from 9 Volt Games, and today I'm going to do why I love Majora's Mask, because I do love it. But first, let's get this out of the way. I have my son 3 nights a week, so occasionally he's going to be in videos, because he's more important to me than any video game on earth, all video games combined. My son is the most important part of my life, and this channel is not a job. I don't get paid for it. So when I'm doing videos, basically what I'm doing, and the reason I assume I'm liked so much, is that I let you into my life when I'm talking about games. So the fact that I did a video that shared a moment with my son is kind of like me giving you something. And if you don't like it, or you don't want to watch it, that's fine. I take a dislike as a fuck you. And most of the time I deserve it because I'm pretty antagonistic when I talk. Like right now, I am. And I'm welcoming a dislike this one because it's a video of me. When the video consists of nothing but me and my son and him giggling and then going, uh-oh, like, and you dislike it, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. I know it was someone who was just trying to be a troll, and I'm pretty sure that the other ones that followed were from friends or the same person with multiple accounts. But seriously, you're a piece of shit. And if you're a long-time subscriber who did it, just stay off my fucking channel. I don't need people like that around. I would gladly have 100 subscribers of true people to me who are nice and appreciate what I do than having a multitude of douchebags. So, now we got that out of the way. Fuck you. Yes, fuck you. Fuck you if you dislike that video. I'm now gonna not have the like and dislike bar on videos that include my son because it actually does get to me. Because realistically, if I saw you in real life and you said something about my son, I would be going to jail that night. That's just the way it is. So anyways, now that we have the daddy just hit mommy vibe out there, let's talk about Majora's Mask and why it's so important to me and why I like the fact that my son likes it. What I like about Majora's Mask, and I argue this a lot because I know a lot of people like Ocarina better. I like Majora's Mask better because it's vastly different and it resonates with me on a bunch of different levels. And I think I've said this before, why I like Majora's Mask so much is that it's embedded into an actual like difficult part of my life. My foster father bought me Majora's Mask when I was about to move to New Hampshire. I feel like he took me out that night and bought me an expansion pack. He actually bought me an N64, an expansion pack, and Majora's Mask. And I feel like he did that to try and get me to stay, and I didn't. And I will forever feel like a douchebag because it took me so long to realize that, like until I was an adult. That's what he was doing. I felt so bad. That's not all. It's also related. That's a terrible one to actually attach to it. You would think that I don't want to play Majora's Mask, but I actually do because I occasionally like to be reminded of how much of a douche I am. That's why I have this tattoo. That's another long story. Anyways, Majora's Mask resonates with me on a personal level, because it's one of the... I'm doing a lot of weird shit with my hands. Long day at work. The story of Majora's Mask, and I feel like the people that I talked to that I know personally that didn't like Majora's Mask, I don't feel like they got the full grasp of what Majora's Mask was meant to represent. And the reason I like it is the fact that it is so different from Zelda's, but it's also the same. And let's start with the obvious one. The line that's most famous for in this game is, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" And a lot of people took it as... I take this real deep, so it's more of an interpretations video. I don't take it as, "You've met with a terrible fate because Link has become a Deku scrub." I think of it as more, you've met with a terrible fate because you just got involved in this situation that's always been going on, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. And what I mean by that is, if you actually pay attention to the lore, which are stories that can be told to you that help pass the time, most people just use it to pass time. Pay attention to those stories, you realize that Skull Kid has been around Termina for, I think it was 2,000 years. And he had been banished from Termina for trying to destroy it once before, and this is pre-Link. And the 4 giants actually banished him because they were all friends together. Well, I believe they called him the Imp at that point. They banished him to the Greater Heavens, which most people think is Hyrule because the Skull Kid met Link previously in Ocarina of Time during his childhood years. So he got pissed because his 4 friends, who were the giants, they got called to protect Termina, and they abandoned him. So he felt abandoned. He took his anger out, tried to destroy Termina. They banished him. This time, he gets Majora's Mask. He has the means to actually destroy Termina when he comes back, and people just took it as that, like, oh, no matter what ending, you get the ending and it seems happy, but it's not happy. There's still like, it's still left gloomy. This is what I like about it being the darkest Zelda, and I will tell everybody that this is the darkest Zelda because Link was there to prevent it this time. Majora's Mask was just a conduit for him to do what he actually wanted to do, and he's gonna do it again. Because if you think about it like this, his friends abandoned him, he tried to destroy Termina. He got Majora's Mask, and then he still held the grudge of his friends abandoning him. He tried to destroy Termina again. He actually shit on his friends, who were the two fairies, Tattle and Tail. He shit on his friends at that point to try and get what he wanted to get back at his old friends. So in the end of Majora, the best part is he says to Link, we can be friends. And Link, does a little silent agreement saying they're going to be friends. Link leaves. So therefore, he just abandoned him again. This is going to happen again over and over. And the reason that I take it as this is something that's going to always be going is because you take Hyrule and you think Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, or Ganon. And if you read the Hyrule Historia, they're all different timelines, but it's something that is inevitably going to happen. Ganon, who is the great evil, is going to come out. He's going to take the innocent, who is Zelda, and then the courageous boy needs to save the day. Whereas in Termina, you can think of Termina as Zelda, you can think of Skull Kid as Ganon, and then you can think of the four giants as Link. So Link inserted himself into something that's always going on, and I think I get this most because of the relevance of time and time manipulation. The fact that you can do all these great things, but then you have to go back to the first day, saying that time's always going to repeat itself in Termina. And I think that's why I like it so much, is because it was a true Zelda with the same format of story, but it wasn't a Zelda. This is something that Link does not belong in. And I think in Japan it was actually called Gaiden, or when it was originally coming out it was called Gaiden, so side story. So this is the only time we'll ever see him in Majora. Link in Termina, I should say. And what I think is awesome about it is that they could actually do a sequel to it, and it would make sense, because regardless of if Majora's Mask is a factor or not, it's going to happen again to Termina. Termina is doomed to be destroyed, or just the Clock Town in general is doomed to be destroyed. And it will be Skull Kid or another incarnation of the Skull Kid. So what I like about that is, and I'm getting a Majora's Mask tattoo. I actually have a friend who's going to draw me a Majora's Mask tattoo. I asked him, I'll tell you what it is, because it's going to be a long time before I can actually get it, because, that elusive thing called money. I want him in the tree trunk when it's raining, holding the two fairies. I want Majora's Mask by his side and the moon in the background, because right there it was like a morality choice. And it has to do with letting things go. And he couldn't let things go. So he put on the mask that allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do. So he basically made a choice of just screw everybody. I'm going to leave everybody behind, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I think that's what I like about it. And even though it's all children in the game, it's a very adult-themed game. And I don't know if it was meant to be taken that far as interpretations the way that I do. But that's the way that I really see it, is that I think it goes deep in the psyche of what can happen to people when they're abandoned. I mean, when I'm adopted, I probably should be in jail for shooting someone in the face, I think, because I was adopted so late. But I chose not to. But I could have chose the other path, because other people do. So that's what I take Majora's Mask as. It's a look of, well, someone's abandoned or had something traumatic happen to them. They had one or two paths to go down. He already went down one path. He had a chance to change his ways, and he still didn't change his ways. So that's why I like it, the fact that it's still open for, they could do another Majora's Mask or something similar and use the same characters as a base if they ever wanted to break free from the regular Zelda scenario. And it will always be there, because when given the choice, Skull Kid will always try and destroy Termina. That, my son really loves it. That's also the reason that I've come back to Majora's Mask so hard lately. Uh-oh, that's what he says. Just like that, you bitch. Thank you guys for watching.